Hello and welcome. We will continue our discussion on human resource management, and we will be elaborating some of the points that we just raised in the previous session. First off, how to establish the HR department in your startup. Putting up a HR department in a startup is about creating policies, plans and processes to take care of your business's short term needs and mitigate long term risk. So, you can very well understand, unless you have a separate HR department, all these that comes under the purview of HR will be neglected, and you will think that everything is taken care. But if there is a dedicated department or dedicated person, they are going to take care of all these issues. A well designed HR policies make for a better employee experience and limit your company's liability. When somebody joins your company, they get a better feel, they understand that they are kind of in a very systematic system, well laid out system. Otherwise, it will look like a kind of a shop where somebody comes in and goes out. So, a well laid out human resource planning or department, putting up a department is important. Try to set up company policies regarding, say, ethical behavior. These are the part of human resource management department's job. So, emphasize the importance of ethical behavior to your employees. Unethical behavior is often a result of company culture and must be addressed by HR, because eventually any unethical behavior will jeopardize your company brand. In some previous session, I mentioned that creating a good brand requires years, maybe decades, whereas jeopardizing that may require just a few seconds. You do something untoward and people get to know about it, your brand value is gone. So, it is very important that there should be proper care that nothing unethical happens around your company that becomes a news item. Employment at will. So, you formulate some kind of a policy where an employee can join and does not feel like he is bound with the system and he has no way to go out, something like a bond or something, that should be avoided, and HR department should take care of that. Then policy changes. Changes will happen and change management is a huge thing. Reserve your company's right to change policies whenever necessary. An employee joins, he should not think that all my boundary of my activities are defined, and suppose in your employment letter you do not write that you can be transferred to any place. Now, you have another office somewhere and you cannot transfer because it is not written there. So, policy change should remain as a fluid part of the employment agreement. If for a startup, suppose you have just started hiring, at this point of time, if you think that having a full fledged department is a burden, have at least one person, but that one person should know the scope of the work that they are going to do, he or she is going to do. He or she has to formulate the long term policy, well laid out policies for the best interest of the company, that will, like say, employee compensation and benefits. Your HR team should work with accounting and payroll, so that while devising or designing a payroll policy, your profitability is not jeopardized. So, there should be a kind of a synchronous thinking, both should be on the same page. Otherwise, HR people might be interested to increase the salary, so that employees are happy, because it becomes sometimes difficult to retain employee. So, you think of increasing the salary, but how is it going to affect the bottom line, affect the profitability, has to be understood properly and should appreciate. Otherwise, it may not take you anywhere. Other department concerns and priorities, like a HR person is a kind of a connect connector, or say they engage with all the departments, so that the whole organization works like a single unit. They get viewpoint from everybody, and then they can design a common structure, common package, so that everybody is happy. Otherwise, one department will be happy, the other department will keep complaining that their point has been taken care and not ours. And HR plan is specific to your startup. It is not necessary that it has to come from the book. Your startup may be very different compared to other startup. For a particular startup, maybe working from home is absolutely possible. For another, perhaps is not absolutely possible. Some close interaction is necessary. So, depending on your specific situation, HR people should design or devise the methods, so that it serves your company better. It does not work in isolation of the company vision either, meaning the HR people should communicate, means they should know the vision first. So, they will be able to hire the right people, or they are also part of the success story of the company. So, they should share the same vision, and all their action has to be around the vision to achieve that vision. So, expert actually has given a checklist for building a department in your organization. Establish organizational design, how the organization is, what is the hierarchy, who reports to whom, and etc. So, a clearly defined role for everybody, so that there is no confusion. Establish onboarding and recruiting procedure, how you are going to make people aware about your requirement or your presence or your value proposition to the employees, prospective employees, and how you are going to recruit them and onboard them in your company. That is to be laid out, not some ad hoc process. Outline regulations for compliance, safety and health. So, these are to be known to everybody, so that they work together and they do not violate any of the things. Unless you tell them that these are the things to be followed, they will not even know what to do and what not to do. Determine compensation and benefits, very clearly laid out compensation package defined and the benefits. Maintain employees relationship, inter-employee relationship, management employee relationship is to be maintained, it will not evolve just like that. Develop training programs and performance management method. So, depending on company's requirement of new skills, new knowledge, or integrating employees in the process that the company is in, regular training is to be devised. Not only that, training actually gives employees more satisfaction. They think that they are adding value to themselves. So, as long as you train them, they think that they are relevant not only in this company, but they are relevant even in the outside world. Use a human resource information system. These are softwares available, so that you can keep track of people's changes, their performances, their unique behavior, if they have any complaint or management has complained against them, what is the feedback of their superiors. So, everything should be documented, so that it remains a transparent system, and whosoever is making a decision about package or promotion, they make informed decision. So, that is why a human resource information system is necessary. Prepare for audit, every company goes through audit. So, you prepare for audit well in advance, not when the auditors are here. So, all the informations are to be maintained in a proper manner, so that every action that has been taken should be supported by documentary evidence that these were the development based on which the action has been taken. This is going to be handy even in a court of law, when some employees or some outsider files a case against the company. So, you have all the background documentation ready. MH human resource management team has various, particularly two functions. One is managerial functions, that includes planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and another is operational function, which includes recruitment, identify suitable applicant, determine perfect match and then recruit and deploy. Training and development, develop workers ability and skill to suit company requirement. Compensation, you design the compensation based on deliveries that they are making, performance appraisal and feedback. So, that is going to help you to decide about promotion or incentivizing them, training, motivating and rewarding and maintaining employee relation all through, that is very important. Industrial relation, like trade union, like particularly trade union, there will always be trouble and you have to maintain that. Human resource planning function, that is forecasting current and future HR needs, meaning how many people you need in the shop floor, how many in the marketing segment, how many in administration like finance. So, depending on that, you have to plan that I need this many people and you decide the profile that these people of this quality, these people of this quality, this rank. So, make a list of that and then you estimate the manpower requirement, marketing and other manpower and operational manpower. Go for recruitment and then eventually training. Steps in recruitment, first of all job analysis, what kind of skill set you need, you look forward to for future employees depending on what you need in the shop floor. So, do a job analysis so that you can create a desired profile of a potential candidate, so that you can advertise or you can communicate to a professional recruitment consultant that I need people with this skills, job analysis. Then human resource planning, how many people you need, what should be the remuneration, then qualification, their experiences, etc. Go for recruitment, then you select, place it in the respective department, go with an induction program where you talk to them about the whole company, take them around the company, they have a holistic view as to how different components of the companies are working like a single piece and how things are moving smoothly. So, that whenever they have a question, it comes automatically at the back of their mind that okay, so finance department is there, I have to go there or talk to them, or it is happening like this. Legal issues, depending on the geographical horizon, there may be several issues like say federal issue, state local issues, workers privileges issues or rights issues, like for example, equal employment opportunities now for men, women, this is happening all across the world. So, HR department will make sure that they have made the right approach. Physically challenged persons, there are job reservations and there are statutory percentages for which government will kind of audit, at least audit will check whether you are following that or not, etc. That was human resource management. Now, it is human resource development, how you develop people so that they deliver what you expect and they remain happy. One is performance appraisal. So, if anybody is doing wonderful work, you appraise that performance and then reward accordingly. Train, then management development, career planning and development. So, career planning, you try to give them higher responsibility or place them at a higher location, higher position, etc. Internal mobility, like from one section to the other, so that they become versatile both from company point of view and their own point of view. Somebody who is in marketing, maybe he wants to know a little bit about say accounting. So, if you place him in accounting or in a kind of a pseudo accounting, they become knowledgeable as to how information is, how eventually the data translates into financial numbers and you decide profitability, transfer, promotion, demotion, retention and retrenchment, superannuation meaning retirement, change management and organization development. So, one very important challenge or dangerous challenge before any company for that matter, in general, startup in particular, like attrition. You hire somebody today, the moment he is inside, immediately they start shooting biodata to other companies. That is a habit but you cannot blame them. You should do something so that they realize that I should not or I need not shoot resume to elsewhere. So, you give them an atmosphere where their creative talent can flourish, can blossom, and they get recognition for their creative part of the outcome or pursuit. Suppose somebody is creative and you give him a routine job, he is going to feel bored, and that is why corporate entrepreneurship has emerged, where everybody is given 20% of their time. 20% is not sacrosanct, 20% is given by Google, but you can give even less or even more. So, they have the opportunity to engage in doing anything that they like, and they stop complaining that this company is not able to exploit my capability. Now, they can challenge themselves, they can challenge their own hypothesis that things should be done like this. So, they start doing something of their own, they realize the challenges, the problems, and at times they actually come up with wonderful things that give them extra benefit, and that helps the company also in two ways. One, company can retain this kind of talent, at the same time company gets new products, new processes at a lower cost, because they have the priority. And third, they have an employee who is much better, because once somebody develops a technology, he or she has gone through the life cycle of development of a product, he or she is a much more matured person. So, the company has a matured person in the process. So, only a human resource management section through human resource development can build this kind of a thing. Compensation is always a bothersome thing, because there are a lot of dispute about compensation, and many employees leave an organization purely because they feel that they are not treated at par with many others. So, one has to be very clear about the performance, and compensation should be somewhat transparent, so that nobody has complained. So, how do you go about compensation? One is job evaluation, what kind of job somebody is doing, wage and salary administration, incentives, bonus, fringe benefit, social security measures. A clear and transparent, unambiguous compensation plan can motivate employees to perform to their best. Anything ambiguous, and it is going to make employees disgruntled, and they will look for the door. At the first opportunity, they will quit the job, something like that. So, we should be very careful about human relations. So, human resource management keeps the relation intact, very healthy. So, they motivate people to work, to deliver, to perform, to remain as a team, boosting employees' morale, developing communication skill, developing leadership skill, redressing employee grievances, handling disciplinary cases, and counseling. All these are critical for maintaining harmony within the company. If or not only maintaining harmony, but delivering the best out of the available resources. Because if somebody lacks communication skills, he or she is going to communicate badly, and that is going to affect, when communication is bad, that affects performance of other people and his performance as well. Because they work in a team, and if there is no communication, there is no coherence among their understanding, and then it will reduce the performance of their effort. So, communication, leadership skill, and redress the grievance, otherwise it will snowball into something bigger, and at times it will burst. So, redress that at early stage will keep everybody happy. Industrial relation, Indian labor market, there are rules that has to be followed. What is the labor law of the country, and then you have to follow them, otherwise you will be in trouble, the company will be in trouble. Trade unionism, collective bargaining, industrial conflict, workers' participation in management, these are all very important. And when we talk about startup, at the beginning we talk about whether idea is more important than team, or timing, or execution. We forget about human resource management. But look at this, you have everything in place, everything best, you do not have human resource management well, and chances are very high that it will crush by its own weight, it will not move anywhere. This is revisiting the human resource manager's roles. One is conscience role, counseling role, mediator role. They do this to keep the team in harmony. The spokesperson's role, meaning they talk to the outside world or to the employees at times as a spokesman of the company, and they sell the company in the process for the best interest of the company. They are problem solver, they are change agent, they do welfare for the employees. Then they also do clerical work, and at times they do firefighting, and for performing they do job analysis, determination of the task which comprise the job, and of skills, knowledge, abilities, responsibilities required of the worker's successful performance. They do all of that. I will just bypass, you can read them. Job specification means what does a job demand or require for performance. Education, experience, training, judgment, initiative, maybe physical strength or physically challenged, effort, then responsibilities, communication skill, emotional characteristics, creativity, drive. So, you look at them and try to realize that you need to keep at the back of your mind so many issues when you think of a specification of a job. A job requires so many separate aspects to be taken care for performing. Now, this is the process of human resource management. One is define and identify workforce, conduct supply analysis, meaning how many employees you need and how many you will be recruiting, conduct a gap analysis, implement workforce planning. The font size is too small, but then I could not help. You can read that by pausing. Nevertheless, I will try to read some of them. Collect workforce data and human resource information, identify functional positions role, develop competency and skill proficiency, validate data with HR manager and supervisor. So, primarily you are trying to analyze how many people you need, what should be their profile like experience and qualification and other aspects. So, you define the kind of workman you need and you are going to recruit. Next step is use statistical tools to conduct a workload analysis to understand work performed, and then determine the need capability to accomplish the work. So, based on analytics you identify that okay, you have a job in hand or you have a position vacant. So, what kind of essential qualification and experience you need, and that you can advertise and hire. Create analytical tools to depict characteristics, validate outputs, conduct supply analysis to determine strengths, risks and gaps. And gap, how do you do the gap analysis? Identify future demands for workforce needs, use historical and current data to analyze trends and model data, conduct a gap analysis on current and future supply demand, identify workforce objectives, and then go ahead and recruit. Develop and implement an action plan with a detailed timeline and phased approach, create feedback mechanism, determine which employees will own process and train them to continuously employ workforce planning process. So, this is the holistically the whole process of human resource management. How do you go about recruiting? You do the job analysis first, then advertise, then invite applications, you receive the application, conduct a written examination, preliminary interview after written examination, then you may also have some kind of a debate or business games, then final interview. Finally, hire the shortlisted candidates, medical examination, preference check, line manager's decision, job offer, and then finally employment. Effective feedback is very different. I am just taking a digression. Your employees will be happy if you understand the challenges that they are in and understand the excessive or extraordinary efforts that they are putting to further company objectives. So, unless you identify how much they are doing, you will not be able to reward them, and they will remain kind of unhappy, because they will think that I am working, but nobody is there to see. So, what is the point? So, if somebody is there to see them and understand that they are putting in lot of effort and performing well, adding value to the company, they will work better. So, it is necessary that you take feedback on a periodic basis. So, that it will do two things, two purposes. One is, employees will always remain vigilant that I have to write something about my performance, and my superior is going to give a feedback. That is number one. Number two, you can design a compensation package depending on their performance or promotion, remuneration, everything. Focus on problem solving and improvement, not criticism. Like if you criticize that you are not doing it this way or right way or anything, is not going to do. Experiment has shown that negative criticism really does not help anyway. So, focus on problem solving and improvement, rather put it in a different way, so that they are not demoralized. Express confidence in workers' ability to improve. Just say that yes, you can do, I have full trust on you, things like that. Pat on their back, well done. Even if they do little bit of good performance, say well done, that will motivate them to work. These are job of the HR manager. Use formal and informal feedback. Informal feedback is just calling somebody and telling them you have done a wonderful job. Formal is through proper channel, and it is done through paperwork. Treat subordinates with respect, praise achievement. You should not take anything for granted that they are working for salary. So, whatever they did is fine, that is not the case. You have to appreciate for good work, they will always look forward to your appreciation. There is something called dopamine. Once you appreciate, in their mind dopamine hormone is secreted. So, they will always remain in anticipation of more appreciation. So, more dopamine will secrete, and they will always try to work better and better, and they will perform better. So, it is a cycle. So, appreciation triggers a positive cycle. Try to practice that. Set a timetable for agreed change. Always give a timetable. Okay, I want it done tomorrow. So, they will try to achieve that milestone. Here are some references, like there are two recent papers I found very interesting, and there is one HBR article on step by step HR department checklist. The checklist has been taken from there. You can have a look at that. So, thank you very much. Good day.